Well, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well there, my dear friend. My name is Hussein. I'm out on my bicycle ride on this beautiful and glorious October day. I apologize for the camera. This camera, best phone ever, worst camera ever. Samsung A32. The problem is, like, beyond 50 feet or 100 feet, it's like the Twilight Zone. In a sense, it's probably, or maybe it could be perceived as a good thing, my dear friend, simply because your attention is then subconsciously consumed by the central figure in this caper. So yeah, outside, beautiful, get away from it, right? So I want to give you something in the first minute or two, which is just get out from time to time. If you take nothing else from this video, take my gratitude for having clicked on this damned thing and helping me vis-a-vis my dreams of glorious YouTube stardom. October 2nd, beautiful, beautiful. You can't, oh, can you? Can you see the lake? Like, what do I do about this? I'm really tempted to try and, like, mess around with the goddamn settings here. I don't know what the hell to do about this. What's the point of me driving like half an hour, biking out here half an hour? I guess I should probably just take you closer in this case. This is called ghetto video tubing. Whereas and wherein I'm basically using the technological hurdles to my creative advantage. So if this goddamn camera is not like showing you the goddamn lake, you can't see. It's even worse. It's worse because we're coming out of the tree cover, and then the sun, it's like it's like basically the end of the universe. It's like these movies where you're basically walking and then there's like the wall of infinity. Trust me, there's a lake out there, there's a beach. It's beautiful. Oh wait, there you go. You can see some of it. Anyway, my goal in this video, my dear YouTube consumer, is to just put more content out there. Continue making a recovery journal. The two main topics on this channel are the fact that I just got out of jail like 6 weeks ago, serving 18 months for arson due to cannabis use disorder. So children, weed's not good for everybody. And adults, ask yourself, why do you need to get high or drunk or stoned or smashed or these kinds of things, right? Like you pride yourselves, oh Westerners, on like you're like at the peak of the civilized world in all the history, and this may or may not be the case. But like the whole peak of civilized history and the whole goal of that civilized society seems to just want to be the party. I want to party all day and night, and all that means is getting high and drunk and ruining your life and going to jail and things like this. They don't tell you how the story ends. Anyway, so there's the recovery aspect of this. I've got videos about addiction. I was addicted to weed. Even though I knew it triggers my bipolar, it makes me psychotic, manic. I start getting into fights. If you want to see what kind of person I become, you may be very surprised. Just click on some of these channels below in the description. Irrational Muslim and Bipolar Muslim Addict, Anxiety Boy. The majority of that content was created when I was just out of my gourd. Like my bipolar mania, once I start smoking weed and it gets triggered, it can go on for months, weeks and months, almost indefinitely. And if I'm smoking weed, like just maybe a joint or two a day even, that's all it takes. It just peaks and it just keeps going. Anyway, so the purpose of this video, my intention was to talk more about God and Islam, as in proofs of God, and Islam as in proofs of God and the Islamic conception of God, things of this nature, more or less just proofs of God, talking about the concept of God, the existence of God, The first and foremost thing being that the whole thing is predicated on a rational imperative, rationality, and reason. I mentioned in my last video where I was painting my bicycle. Oh wait, my other bicycle. Where I was painting my other bicycle. I mentioned the story where we are told from the family of Muhammad, who us Shia Muslims follow, that God created reason, and he was so proud and happy, and he said, "Oh my angels and oh inhabitants of my heavens, this creature, reason or rationality or intellect, aql in Arabic, AQL, aql. So this creature is the most precious thing I've ever created. Whoever goes to heaven, it's going to be by virtue of having obeyed this creature. And whoever goes to hell, right? Whoever goes to hell, it'll be by virtue of having ignored and disobeyed this creature." So this is a Shia narration, right? But in general in Islam, it's a given, and it's basically understood that Sharia or religion never conflicts with reason. This is what that is. Now, again, the atheistic conception is the following. There's many things which, like, first and foremost, 99% of what atheists say and 99% of their questions are correct. This is the way I see that. And on the other hand, I will say, those whom I deem to be enlightened atheists, they are some of the most principled people, and I basically consider them believers. There's a video on my Zaidi Boy channel where I say an atheist can be a believer, and I talk about this. The basis of that is the Quran, as well as Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family, saying anyone who likes good. I'm wary of bringing this camera too close to my face because I see the videos afterwards and it's just like way too close. It's just like whatever. I'm sitting here relaxing, just catching my breath before biking back, right? I bike for about an hour every afternoon. I sold software for 10 years, 2 and 4 Fortune 500 companies, and then worked as a security guard for 7 years while building my digital marketing practice, to the extent where I basically, know what I want to do and know what kind of work I like as a digital marketer. If you're interested in that kind of thing, you can shoot me a comment. I'll tell you exactly how to get started. It's very easy. You can sell websites and get other people to build them. You can optimize for Google, which is called search engine optimization. And basically, as a digital marketer, like, you can basically outsource all of the work. You might go to a place called Fiverr or Upwork.com or Fiverr.com. F as in Frank, I as in India, V as in Victor, Echo Radio.com. You go there and you can find 50 app developers. You just message the top 50 website designers, top 50 anything you're interested in, and just start talking to some guy. And then on this side here in North America or Europe or the Westerns, in the Western world, and amongst the Western, in amidst the Western, living in Western civilization, under the banner of Western civilization, you basically find someone, and you're like, the only hard part about this model that I'm talking about on a total tangent is that you must figure out a go-to approach, right? So for the average person, if you're interested in digital marketing, the way you would do it is you'd grab your uncle who owns a pizza store, or your buddy who works at some company or something like this, and you would beg these people and say, let me build you a website and these kinds of things, pay me a $500 retainer, and the website will just be $2,000. And actually, if you were to go out there, this kind of website would cost you $5,000 to $10,000. This would be your approach as an average person. Myself, as a more accomplished, I suppose, digital marketer, I use everything from mass voicemails to mass emails to like things like this, right? Like Craigslist. I put an ad on Craigslist just yesterday. I got a response today. These kinds of things, and then you tweak the ads or whatever. Like, I just like well, I like calling people, frankly. Like, I'll target like a high-end client, like some company I can do some work for, and just write a little proposal or do some work and these kinds of things. The best way to get a customer is to do some work for them, to demonstrate value. Like, if their website is crap and you can put together, it's not hard to learn the skills to put together some kind of mock-up website. And when you start working with some guy on Fiverr, you know, you guys can have a partnership where you can say, well, listen, you just let me give you $20 at a time, and you give me mock-ups, and you somehow like make it more and more streamlined. Like, the challenge, of course, is getting customers. This is the whole thing, and the way forward for most people is through your supposed network. Just talk to people. Like, this is what I'm doing and these kinds of things. Anyway, you stay at it, you'll figure it out. And if it was meant to be, you can do it. And that's just one of many ways of making money online. Like, on a total side note, I know I always digress, and this is one of the reasons I think I don't get a good viewership on YouTube. Besides which, I'm ugly and I ramble on and go in circles and things like this, and I go off on tangents. Within tangents, and within those tangents are other tangents. Anyway, now, so if you're interested, shoot me a comment. It's already 11 minutes 30 seconds, and I've just only recapped what I've talked about before. I'm hoping I can add and then have some kind of discussion that I present over the course of several videos or even scores of videos. My intention is to keep talking about these things, keep talking about recovery, keep talking about how just being alive and living a clean, healthy, productive life, this is the greatest high, and this is the most amazing thing, right? And then on the other hand, in terms of God, right? God is the feeling inside of you that you should be good. That's what that is, right? So Prophet Muhammad said, anyone who loves good and hates evil is a believer. Or anyone who, when they do something bad and then they feel sorry about it afterwards, that person is a believer as well, my friends. So my atheist friend was like, whoa, that would be me. And I'm like, yeah, that's the whole point. So now, atheists again say, well, the whole point of religion is that you believe in things for which there's no proof, there's no evidence. Sometimes you believe in things which are contrary to evidence. You believe in things that make no sense. And this is called faith, and that's the whole point. Right? You're meant to believe in things for which there's no point. Like, I mean, not point, but like the point of it is to just answer like the questions we have as to like, what are we doing here and what's going on and things like this. On the other hand, may I just point out that there's a reason that we ask these questions. And this feeling inside of you of God, which in my previous videos, couple of videos, I've talked about in terms of the feeling of faith inside of you, the feeling that everything has a meaning, the feeling that things are going to be okay, the feeling that you should be good to others and you shouldn't lie and you should be honest and generous. All of this stems out of a non-ordinary impulse. Like animals, like there are exceptions where animals will sacrifice themselves for other animals, but this is not the rule. The rule with animals is dog eat dog and the survival of the fittest. But the epitome of what it is to be a human is to sacrifice yourself for others, to be altruistic and things of this nature. So now, I just want to set this thing in stone that in Islam, and specifically in Shia Islam, again, there's three pillars of your faith: belief in God, belief that He sent messengers, and belief in the hereafter. And you have to rationalize each of these things. So, with regards to God, okay, the biggest proof is the one inside of you, right? And so if someone asks, why should I believe in God? I have a couple of good reasons. A, just try it. Just try it. Right? Like, because what happens, I'm here to tell you that what happens is, as you connect with God and your inner goodness, let's say, as you start to more or less channel your higher self, as you begin to exemplify your best self from moment to moment, as you begin to just channel this inner feeling of goodness and whatnot, and focus on that thing and make that thing your priority, which is God, right? When they say in the Bible, seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything else will be added, this kind of thing. And in Islam, it's like whoever believes in God and has faith in him and puts him first, God has made it mandatory on himself to take care of all of your needs in this world and the next, this kind of thing. So what that means is, it doesn't mean you're reading your Bible or Quran day and night. I mentioned and praying day and night, right? I mentioned that the worst people in the world are religious. This would seem to be self-evident, to the extent that Hitler was religious in many respects. I mean, he did battle the church, and you know, of course, like this was his power hungry aspect of trying to subvert the church and all of the organs of the state and these kinds of things, the institutions of the state. And it's so funny and so scary that this is exactly what Donald Trump is doing nowadays. I just read like the news today, and again, the Department of Energy, one of their sub-departments or something, where they basically fund climate projects or whatever, like they get a memo saying you're not allowed to use these terms, green and this kind of stuff, and climate change and energy conservation, and bizarre, like Big Brother 1984 stuff. You're only meant to use these words. And we have the same thing going on here in Quebec. Like, I understand that you want to preserve the French culture. On the other hand, this is like not in your hands. It's like, I'm sure Microsoft wanted to preserve whatever, like you know, pen pilots or whatever, like Palm Pilots. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is Microsoft wants to preserve the dominance of Windows on all platforms. However, Apple and Google, with their Android operating system, they dominate mobile. And now mobile is the predominant fucking, sorry for swearing, but e-commerce and everything. More is done, like 70% of everything, like e-commerce and content consumption, is done on the phone, right? And yet I persist in shooting my videos horizontally because I like the widescreen aspect ratio. So now I'm going around in circles, right? So yeah, like this whole thing with Donald Trump, and it's like they defunded projects for states that supported Kamala Harris. Can you believe this? It's so blatant and so horrible, and no one can do anything about it. And I'm sorry to say this as well to my American friends. If anyone's watching and you're American, I'm sorry about it. You probably feel bad about it. If you're watching me ramble, then you're probably not a right-wing Nazi or whatever that is, right? And everyone on the left is now Antifa, and they're like a terrorist organization. It's just crazy what's going on. But unfortunately, this is like American karma, right? You've enslaved the blacks and destroyed the Indians, and like you bombed like the Japanese, like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, not to mention carpet bombing Tokyo, not to mention mi esposa is Latina, de Colombia, de Bogota, Colombia. My wife is South American. She's from Bogota, Colombia. And in the 60s, this is just one aspect of what the United States has done over the years. I'm sorry, I love Americans and like things like this, and I've got many American friends. I went to university in the States. I have a university degree that I'm very proud of from the University of Bridgeport in the state of Connecticut. Okay, these kinds of things. The only campus in the whole country that was literally on the water, like Long Island Sound and Seaside Park. Anyway, I'm told, beautiful, beautiful 4 years, right? So now you've done all these things, and I'm sorry, this is what happens. As a country, you haven't owned up to it. Like here in Canada, like for example, we only did a fraction of the harm and the oppression and cruelty that was dealt out to indigenous Native Americans, right? North American Indians. Like what we did in Canada, it's like we didn't commit mass genocide, although some call it that. Like the worst of it was that we basically took native children, and this is horrible, of course, hundreds of thousands or something like this, and we indoctrinated them in Catholic schools or religious schools and separated them from their family, and many of them were abused and even killed and things like this. It's horrible. Unfortunately, for what it's worth, like, this is what happens in the church. Like the church, and you've got pedophilia. Why? Because you don't want to let people get married. I'm sorry, like Muslim versus Christian. My wife of 20 years is a Christian, by the way, and I highly respect Christianity, but not allowing people to marry just because Christ didn't marry, like, this is not the thing. Like, this is straying from the mark. Anyway, I'm reaching 20 minutes, and I usually end these at half an hour. I don't know what to say. Like, I really didn't talk about anything new. I just want to say a couple of things then. If you're interested in hearing me talk about atheism and proofs of God, like, I do this in great detail on my Zaidi Boy channel. Just go there and there's playlists there. I don't even, like, I'm locked out of that channel. I've been locked out of that channel for years. I'm still trying to get back into that Gmail account, that Google account, and I urge you to disconnect your phone numbers from your Google accounts, because you may get locked out if you change your phone number. Anyway, proofs of God. So inside of you, this whole thing, right? This feeling of goodness, this feeling of meaning. Like an atheist might say, well, listen, I don't need some external authority telling me what's good or what's bad, and I don't need some external, like, imaginary conceptions vis-a-vis God and angels, right? And the day of judgment and things that, like, these are just made up things. I don't need these things in order to give my life meaning. My life has meaning, and my actions have the meaning that I choose to give it. Things like this. Again, this whole thing, it's correct in its sense, and in fact, it's the epitome of piety and more or less God-fearingness. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said that some people worship God because they're scared of his punishment. Some people worship God because they want his rewards. They want his heaven. They want to be blessed and rewarded by him. And others, they worship him because they love him, and because they deem him like deserving of worship and obedience. And this is the atheistic approach. You do good things because they deserve to be done. You are the best person you can be, because what else are you going to do? Why would you do anything differently? Right? It's like the Canadian ethic in Canucks. Like, average Canuck. I love this country so much, and these people, they're so beautiful. Like, the average Canadian is just a beautiful person, wired to be correct and polite and friendly. And again, they're bending over backwards. We had National Truth and Reconciliation Day just yesterday, where the whole country, the Prime Minister down and up, everybody's talking about the natives and what they did. And now, on the other hand, like America, like, according to Daniel Schmactenberger, the American government and the whole society, like, if you're American, then this would be your forefathers, literally killed, like, it was millions. I thought it was like 19 or 20 million. It turns out it could be like 80 or 100 million. I think that's in today's terms. I don't think it was really 100 million people. And by the way, I urge you to look up Daniel Schmachtenberger. 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 I'm literally thinking of putting a link of one of his talks in my description on an ongoing basis. He's such an amazing guy, and it's so vital that people get to know him and what he's talking about. So like, the average American doesn't give a hoot. Like, black people, as far as that goes, it's just like, oh, let's not be racist. And then, like, the native thing, nobody gives a hoot. They just you simply don't care that you wiped out an entire race of people. You simply don't care, right? So now you suck eggs. I'm sorry, this is like karma. Now you suck eggs because now you've got fucking Adolf Hitler. Like, sorry for swearing. I try and keep these things F-bomb free because I got nieces and things like this, right? Although they're mostly grown up. Anyway, whatever. So now, back to the topic. I wanted to say, and I will say this, that again, there's good and bad atheists, just like there's good and bad Muslims and everything like this. And the funny thing is, some atheists, it's so funny. It's like Friedrich Nietzsche said, when chasing monsters, take care lest you become monsters. The funny thing is that neoconservatives that are fighting ISIS are just as fanatical and terror-minded as ISIS. And they're going to bomb and drone innocent people and kill people, and they just have no scruples and morals, just like ISIS. In the same way, I'm sorry to say, like, yes, religious people, some of the worst people are religious people, including Adolf Hitler, right? He would say providence this and providence that. Providence saved me when he was about to be assassinated a couple of times. Or like providence, like destined that I would do this and that, and things of this nature, right? So yeah, now you've got Adolf Hitler in charge of the United States, and this is karma. Like my wife, I was saying, is Latin American. And then, like, throughout the whole 60s, like all the Latin American countries, most of them or many of them, they're all very aware of this, and that's why there's a great deal of anti-American sentiment down there. And Che Guevara's El Jefe is so popular not only in South America but around the world. I guess he's become a cultural icon, and it's funny because he was a communist and he was anti-American, like anti-imperialist and these things. But the average American, I just wondered, like, do you think about these things? I'm sure many educated Americans do, but the average American, I don't know if you think about these things. And that's why you got this guy in charge, and he's just destroying everything. He's destroying the economy. Like, the government is shut down right now, and it's just getting worse and worse. And he's so out to lunch, and he's so narcissistic. Anyway, enlightened atheists, they're really good people. They can consider themselves believers. As far as I'm concerned, they do the best they can and things like this. Fanatical atheists, they're as bad as like religious people. Like, this is what that is. Like, they're intolerant and they're judgmental and they are very offensive, right? And they go out of their way to offend people, and they're very rigid with their perspectives and their ideologies and this and whatnot. And it's so funny to see, like, the average Bible bashing religious person, or like hardcore Islamist as that were. And I know the type very well, by the way, right? As a Shia Muslim, like, we suffer at the hands of extremists as well. Like, they kill and slaughter us, like, and they've been doing this far before, like way before they started killing and slaughtering non-Muslims. Anyway, the whole thing, there's so many things I want to share with any viewers that happen by this damned video in my channel. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and things like this. I just want to say this last one thing. It's like 1 or 2 minutes left. See, here's the thing. The ultimate proof in the physical world, there's 2 or 3 aspects of this. First of all, did the universe come out of nowhere? Or how could anything have come out of nowhere? Or did the universe exist forever? And if you think about it, for anything to exist is a mind F. It's a mind bomb. How can anything exist? Where did it come from? And so there had to be something that it has existed forever. As inconceivable as that is, that's the whole thing, right? The whole thing is, it's a logical imperative, right? For anything to exist, there had to have been a God. This is all it is. The universe did not create itself, did not come out of nowhere, does not govern itself. It's ordered. And this whole question of, oh, it only appears designed, it is ordered. And order does infer design. Order doesn't just happen by accident. So then the question of life. Can life come from non-life? And then, of course, scientists will say, well, it was so they'll say everything apart from it was divine intervention, and in fact it's impossible and it's inexplicable and it can never be explained because it's impossible. Like, for life to come from non-life, right? For something to come from nothing. And then you look at this amazing, wondrous universe. So enlightened atheists will say, yes, there is something that exists as the primary cause, but you're not allowed to call him God or say that he's your God or your book, and you're not allowed to try and bash my head with these beliefs. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you later.